We got more Joker drama all the time. More Joker drama going on in the news. Though this time, we've got some good stuff. Some really good stuff. So, Tod Phillips has had some things to say. We're going to talk about that. Also, we're going to talk about some media that's actually getting sick of the drama, which I found surprising. And we have some reports on security for the movie and what people are doing. So far, nothing's happened. Movie's been premiering. Nothing's happened. But there's a response from New York. We'll take a look at that. So the biggest thing that I want to talk about is Tod Phillips having enough, pretty much extending his hand out and pushing up the middle finger towards media. I love it. I love the reaction. I love that Warner Brothers banned that they banned people from the premiere. Yeah, we don't want any of you critics here. You can come take pictures, but asking questions, nah, we're not gonna go for that. That's cool though. You're not invited, but you can watch and take pictures. That was excellent. I love that people are finally having enough of this. That they're finally saying something. That they're standing up to these crazies. But there's also some sadness in here in what he says, and we're going to talk about that as well. This comes from this piece from Vanity Fair. It's more talking about the movie in an interview with Joaquin Phoenix. I'm not going to go over this because, as you can see, it's quite long and extensive. It's actually a really good read, but this isn't the purpose. I want to go over comicbook.com's take because they do a salty response to what Tod says. So I want to go over this one. So we're going to skip down because the first part of it just talks about the movie and some of the problems that it's having. So we go here. It says, during a recent interview with Vanity Fair, Phillips explained that the effects of woke culture had on comedy and the genre, and it makes the genre less enjoyable and harder to create, which is absolutely true, and I 100% agree with that. Most comedies nowadays are pretty forgettable. I can't think of too many comedies that I really sit down and can remember from the past 10 years. Most of the comedies that I really liked are older. And there's a really good reason for that. It's because you can't make really good comedy anymore. You can't push boundaries. You can't be controversial, which a lot of comedy is. You know, a lot of your favorite comics, they bring up a lot of controversy. Look at Dave Chappelle, Bill Burr, George Carlin, you know. These people, well, George Carlin isn't around anymore. He's my favorite comedian of all time. So I always like to include him in conversation. But these comedians, they can't do anything anymore without being scrutinized. And it's the same with movies. It's actually worse for movies because look what they do before the movie even comes out. Joker has been getting scrutinized for like at least 2 months now. We've been seeing people talk about it like it's going to turn into some world disaster or something. It's been getting hit weekly, which of course is going to drive more people to see the movie. This movie is going to be a massive success. Even if the hype isn't real. I think the hype is real, but let's say it sucks. People are still going to go see it because of all these stupid people attacking it. They're bringing it on themselves. It's funny to see. However, they still get hit. And you can look at Dave Chappelle and Bill Burr, like I was saying. Look at them. Look how they're getting hit on after their comedy comes out. You can't quite do that with comedy like you do to a comedy movie because people see the movie before it even comes out. And therefore they can give it review bombs and everything. By the way, I find it funny that critics are allowed to review bomb movies, and that's totally fine over on places like Rotten Tomato. But if the audience does it, guess what? That's different. We got to remove the audience scores. This is why people don't like any of you people in journalism, Hollywood, entertainment, all that stuff. Nobody likes you anymore. It used to be different. People used to see all of you like royalty. That's not the same anymore. Anyway, let's continue on. So here's what he said. Go try to be funny nowadays with this woke culture, Phillips said. There are articles written about comedies and why they don't work anymore. I'll tell you why. Because of all The effing funny guys are like, F this S. Now, I'm not, of course, going to say those words because you instantly, well, you can sometimes say them. No one really knows why sometimes it's okay and sometimes it's not. So, you have to show up for a live stream if you want to hear me say those words. Because I don't want to offend you. It's hard to argue with 30 million people on Twitter. You just can't do it, right? So you go, I'm out. And you know what? With all my comedies, I think that what comedies in general all have in common is they're irreverent. Now, I would have gone with the word irrelevant because most comedies today are quite irrelevant. Look at that movie Stew or whatever. I forget the name of it, but it had the guy from Guardians in the Galaxy, the wrestler. His name's not on my mind for some reason. It starts with a B. I'm sure plenty of comments will correct the name for me. But him and some other dude are in it. It's about like a cop that goes and gets an Uber driver. I think it's called Stuber was the movie. And they stated in the interviews for the movie that it takes on tropes of masculinity and wants to fight off toxic masculinity. It's the theme of comedy. A comedy. You get a little lecture with your laughs. That's not what people find funny. No one wants to see a movie like that. And that's what makes them irrelevant in my eyes. Or you have a lot of these female comedies like, aren't men stupid? Oh my God, they're dumb. Like, no one wants to see that either. So I would have went with irrelevant. So I go, how do I do something irreverent but F comedy? Oh, I know. Let's take the comic book movie universe and turn it on its head with this. And so that's really where that came from. So the reason I wanted to go over this article is because now the guy gets salty, the writer of the article. So according to Phillips, comedies can't be good anymore, so he decided to make a Joker movie. Perhaps he hasn't seen films like Game Night, Sorry to Bother You, Booksmart, Blockers, Girls Trip, Pop Star, Good Boys. Haven't seen any of those. Never heard of them, to be honest. So, don't know. Maybe it's just me. If those are actually funny movies, please let me know in the comments, and maybe I'll check them out. Or any number of hilarious, irreverent, R-rated comedies released in the past half-decade or so. Comedies still exist, and there's no denying that they can push boundaries and still be accepted by the masses. Maybe Phillips just didn't appreciate the bashing of his less than desirable Hangover sequels and Joker in his response. So Joker has only beginning bashing by weirdos like you who wrote this article. Everything points to Joker actually being a good movie. The Hangover sequel is not that great. The first Hangover, very, very funny. Phillips has made a lot of funny movies. Road Trip and Hangover come to mind. He's did some others I found funny as well. I can't think of them, but nonetheless, the guy can make funny movies. The Hangover sequels, not so much. I didn't think those were great. But Joker seems like a good movie. But here you are bashing it like it's going to be a bad movie. Salty much, maybe, that you people aren't having the effect that you'd like to have? In fact, some people are getting sick of all the stuff surrounding Joker. We go to the Irish Times, and you see Donald Clark here. He's kind of tired of it. He calls the controversy kind of exhausting. It does not make a hero of its lead character. And that's what they've been trying to say all along. But of course, the media has to come out and spin their narrative in it. They hope something happens so they can go, whoa, 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 we told you so. We said it would happen. Like, they literally want destruction. They want it. They can't wait for it. So they put all this garbage out. So hopefully, I'm thinking nothing's going to happen. And all these people are going to look like clowns. And I like that Donald Clark here wrote a nice little piece. I'll actually link it if you want to read it. I'm also going to link the Vanity Fair article, not the stupid comicbook.com one. You can read everything that was in that article in the Vanity Fair one, which I think is a very nice piece, actually. You can give a look at it. But it's nice that some people are kind of sick of it. And you have to go all the way to Ireland to find an opinion like that. You won't see it over here in North America because that would go against the trend. And then we also have some news about what's going on with fears of incel attacks. NYPD is actually going to cover screenings until further notice, which I find just ridiculous. Nothing is going to go down for these movies. But yet, let's just go ahead and beef everything up, I guess. Give in to these weirdos and go ahead and just give them what they want. The waste of taxpayer money is what this is. But, you know, hey, no one's going to say anything, right? So I guess whatever. I mean, it doesn't really affect me over here. But I would be kind of upset about that. So you're seeing beefs in this. Security's going up. So get used to seeing more of that when you go to the movie theaters, I guess. I just find all this so ridiculous. And it's all because of these stupid journalists. That's why this is happening. These guys are jokes. Stop giving them so much power. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about all of this. Like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Give me your thoughts. Like I said, I want to hear what you guys think about what Phillips said, the director of The Joker. What do you think about the salty journalist? What do you think about the extra security around the movie? Are you also sick of these crazy people making this movie into a big deal? Let me know what you guys think. Give me your thoughts. Also, like and subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed, by the way. Make sure you still got that subscription button kissed. And go ahead and hit the bell while you're at it. You might get a couple more notifications. It's possible. Could happen. You never know, though, because YouTube don't like channels like this one. So that's pretty much it. I will see you guys on the next one. Oh, yeah, and subscribe to my Twitch, YellowFlash Comics.